don't have a strategy problem, you have a sitting on your hands problem. And the hardest part of trading isn't losing, it's doing nothing, basically being still on your hands, right? And you know what used to destroy me? And I'm talking about this was like 5, 6 years ago, maybe at the start of my trading journey, right? Well, at the start of my futures trading journey, I want to say, because I used to trade crypto and Forex before that, like 7, 8 years ago. But it wasn't losing, right? It was a week with no trades. I had to sit still, but my mind used to itch, right? The voice inside my head used to say things like, "You've been watching this all week. You know the setup. The move is coming, right? You'll miss it if you wait. The close enough to A plus, and why, right? Because there was zero entries, no profit screenshots, no dopamine hit of hitting buttons, no payout progress, nothing. Well, at that time it wasn't payout progress, I guess. It was more like a live account P&L. But it was basically just me staring at charts for 5 days, wondering if I was falling behind, right? And I know a lot of you can understand this, but haven't seen anybody talk about this. Yes, everybody talks about their funded accounts and their payouts and their sniper entries and, oh, I made 10R this week. Lambos, even me, right? I talk about, oh, I won this trade, I lost this trade, this week I'm up 3R, whatever, but nobody talks about the silent torture of doing the right thing and still feeling like a failure, right? This was the part that almost broke me. Not losses, right? Losses are, once you get used to losses, they're easy to deal with. You're used to them. You kind of expect them almost, right? But that emptiness that comes from doing nothing, the feeling that if I wasn't trading, I wasn't progressing. And honestly, right? This mindset is what keeps most traders trapped forever. Because after some time, you stop trying or you stop trading to make money, right? And you start trading to feel something inside of you, to feel alive, right? To feel useful. And I want to say something uncomfortable here, actually. You know what? A lot of traders are not addicted to making money, they're addicted to the rush. Think about it, right? You wake up, coffee, charts, markups, news, Discord, TradingView alerts, charts, whatever. Your brain starts firing before the market even opens, and then price starts moving, right? Candles are ripping, volumes are surging, fake breakouts, liquidity sweeps, whatever. And even if you don't take the trade, your heart rate will go up, right? Your brain already got a dopamine hit from participating emotionally, and that's why traders feel exhausted after no trade days, because their nervous system still went through the mental battle without even seeing P&L move, right? And eventually your brain starts craving the rush more than the actual profitability. And this is the main reason why many traders force their entries, revenge trade, over leverage, jump from strategy to strategy, take almost A plus setups, right, or decent enough setup, because deep down the brain would get dopamine hit from buying and selling, even though it comes with the cost of emotional pain. Your brain is willing to take that kind of trade-off, right? Your brain can handle the emotional pain because of consistent dopamine hits, but it cannot handle emotional emptiness because of zero dopamine hits, right? This is the real psychology problem here. There's actual research on this too. I did my research. Dopamine neurons fire not in response to the reward itself, but to cues that predict the reward. And the firing rate scales with uncertainty as well. So a guaranteed reward produces a modest, small response. An uncertain one keeps those neurons firing throughout the entire wait, every single time, every second, basically, right? Because dopaminergic anticipation of reward and uncertainty can present a dysfunctional reward anticipation, basically kind of reinforcing the behavior despite losses, right? Now you know why the market is so addictive. Okay, not the money, possibility, the uncertainty, and that's dangerous. That's super dangerous because now your trading decisions are no longer coming from logic. They're coming from craving, and you're trying to build a business. You need to get cravings the fuck out of here, okay? You are trying to build a future, a business, a life for yourself, right? I remember one specific week, okay? The market was fucking terrible, pure garbage, chop everywhere. Fake displacements, no follow through, no clean liquidity delivery. My model was basically screaming at me to not do shit, right? Trend wasn't clean, right? There was a difference between ES and AQ. Bias was weak, no real draws, no clean retracement, nothing going on basically, right? And everything in my system was basically screaming to not touch it. But emotionally, I wanted to trade so fucking bad, bro. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, how am I supposed to be successful if I'm not trading? That thought right there is what destroys funded accounts today. That thought that I had 5 years ago is what destroys people to this day. Okay, because that's not how professional thinks. That's not professional thinking, right? That's your brain basically being in survival thinking. That's a retail trader mindset. Basically, if I'm not active, I'm losing. Meanwhile, institutions sit in cash all the time. They're in cash positions all the time. They're not in anything because professionals know that they're not paid for their activity. They get paid for their timing, right? They get paid for their decisions. So that week, I took 0 trades. 0. And I felt terrible at the time. Terrible. Looking back, great. But at the time, horrible. Didn't like that at all, right? Until the following week came. And I watched traders around me trying to recover from the damage that they'd had during that week, right? I would go on Instagram, look at stuff, right? Social media, everything. You see everything on social media. Everybody's fake on social media, right? But some people, they post their losses, and those ones all lost. Okay, they all fucking lost, right? So they were down bad emotionally, though. They were breaking their rules. At this point, they were increasing their size, right? Trying to make it back. The martingale strategy, whatever. Meanwhile, I had a $0 week. Not a blown week. I was trading live accounts at the time, right? I blow an account, I blow my account. I don't blow a fucking $50 on an eval. I blow a full live account if I blow something at the time, right? But I was mentally fresh, clear. I was ready, right? And when the real setup finally came, I executed instantly, right? No hesitation, because patience of sitting on my hands kind of preserved my clarity in a sense. Does that make sense? Like, I followed my system, I followed my own rules, and that was the first time I truly understood, oh, okay, so cash is a position. Cash does make sense to stay in. Sometimes you don't need to trade. You could trade once or twice or 3 times a month and be way more profitable than people that trade every day, right? And that's when I truly understood it. So people think that over trading kills account, and that's only half true. It is true. It's definitely true. Okay, over trading kills your identity, right? Everybody I watch on YouTube touch this topic on basically a surface level, right? Every time you force a trade, you already know it's garbage. You weaken your trust in yourself, blah blah, and eventually your own brain stops respecting your rules. That's why traders go deep in the red spiral, right? Because the issue isn't just losing money, right? It's the internal disappointment afterward, right? That drive home feeling, that shower thought of, why did I have to do that? Why did I go that? Why did I do it again? Right? I gave it all back again, right? They do the real damage. You start splitting into different versions of yourself. There's the calm analyst basically before market open, the impulsive gamble, or the impulsive gambler during the volatility points of the market, right? And then the punisher afterwards, replaying the mistakes all fucking day long, making you kind of hate yourself just a little bit, right? And eventually trading becomes emotionally exhausting. No, it's hard, bro, because you're fighting your 3 personalities every fucking day. And that's why I always say the execution gap is not a strategy problem, it's a nervous system problem. Most traders already know what they should do, right? They just cannot tolerate the emotional discomfort of waiting and let their other personalities take control, right? Just sitting on your hands, relaxing, doing nothing, right? Chilling, right? You know, there's a ratio that decides whether you'll be a consistent profitable trader or not in the long run. That's a Sharpe ratio. And your current profits have nothing to do with it, even if you're ripping profits every week, right? So everybody tracks win rate, RR, payouts, account size, but almost none of you track emotional volatility, right? And that metric matters more long term. I always say that when you journal, you should journal how you felt, not just the chart, how you felt, okay? Because your emotions are exploding every week. You will self-destruct eventually. I call this one your psychological Sharpe ratio, okay? How stable are you emotionally over time? Because if your confidence depends on daily excitement, uh, you are building your trading career on unstable foundations, my friend. And this is exactly why over trading will destroy funded accounts trade or funded traders in 2026. It will never be lack of strategy. It'll be lack of emotion. You can find a fucking strategy every corner of the street, right? But the funded account industry is literally built around your impatience. Think about it. Most people pass eval, get funded, get excited, overtrade, lose discipline, blow it, restart, right? It becomes a vicious. Why do you think funded accounts are so cheap? Because everybody fucking blows them, bro. People that be ribbon payouts, 5K payouts on a $50 eval. It's because people fucking blow them every day, bro. And so many of them, right? They're a business too. They're here to make money. If they make money, you have to realize that everybody fucking loses and does this shit, right? It becomes like a vicious loop. Prop firms are a business, like I said, and it's a business that rips profit from you, right? Because they always offer you a way out, resetting, buying a new account. You can always undo your mistake, right? And that's why elite traders look boring. Their weeks are repetitive, calm, selective. No emotional roller coaster there. No forcing, no random hero trades. Newer trading mistakes this calmness for lack of ambition. But real professionals understand something retail traders don't. Longevity is a flex. It's the flex, actually, because how do you fix this, right? How do you rewire your brain? First, you need to stop seeing no trade as inactivity. A no trade day is still execution. You executed discipline. You followed the system. And most importantly, you protected capital, right? I repeat this again. You protected capital. You are capable and you're not falling behind by playing defense. You protected your psychology, and that matters. Okay, second, you need to reward yourself differently. Right now, your brain probably rewards entries, candle moving, anticipation of profits, stimulation to buying, selling buttons, whatever, right? You need to train your brain to feel satisfaction from patience, rule following, defensive execution, right? Defense is also part of the execution. It's important. Preserving emotional stability, basically, this will be your shift. I know it's easier said than done, but once you have put in the reps on right things, which is this, right? Patience, rule following, defensive execution, whatever. I don't remember the last one I said. Preserving emotional stability. Discipline stops feeling restrictive and starts feeling more powerful, right? On world's worst days, you will have zero P&L while others have blown their accounts. There are negative 4,500, 5K, 6K, 10K, 2K, whatever, right? And this is where neuroscience actually matters, right? Your prefrontal cortex controls impulsive suppressions, long-term thinking, decision making. Every time you resist forcing a trade, you strengthen that circuitry. Literally, discipline is trainable, guys, but so is impulsiveness. That's why forcing entries becomes automatic after a while. You trained your brain to crave emotional movement. You now have to reverse it. Okay, this line will help you right here. One of the biggest breakthroughs in my trading career was this. I stopped trying to feel productive every day on the charts. Bring it outside of the charts. Go gym. Do something else other than the charts, okay? Trade and then do something else, and that changed everything. Because now I only need one thing. A clean setup. One trade is enough. One clean execution. Anything really, right? Let me show you guys what I mean. So here it is. One simple trade. You just need this. You need this once a week. You could use this once a month. As long as you're up and you're making profits and you're feeling good mentally, everything is fine. I made almost 10K on this trade right here, right? And here's the thing. I don't need anything more. Instead of taking unnecessary losses and kind of draining your mental battery, you just take some decent trades. Let me show you guys some more. So here's another trade, right? Super small trailing here, right? I think that was a 6K trade if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 6K trade right there, right? It's super, super easy, super, super free. But in 3 minutes, basically, bro. But it was a sniper execution. It was a decent trade. I was confident in it, and I knew what I was doing. All those trades, by the way, can be. I trade live in my free Discord every single day, by the way. So you guys who want to hop in there, go on the WAP free Discord, enter. I trade live every day, and all the trade recaps are posted there as well, written and video style. There's something beautiful that happens when you stop forcing trade, right? Your conviction comes back because now the real setup appears, right? You know it's different, right? You can see the best setup. You weren't able to see the best setup until now because you're not emotionally drained. You're not revenge trading. You're not trying to recover your losses. You're not overexposed. You're not risking too much, right? That's basically the springboard effect. Selective execution creates explosive clarity. And some of my best trades ever came after periods of doing absolutely nothing because patience stores your mental energy. Over trading drains it. And that's why elite traders look detached emotionally, right? They're protecting their mental bandwidth, basically. And once you understand that, you stop chasing every single movement. You stop needing action every day, right? You stop treating it like a rush. And finally, you start thinking like a professional. So a $0 week is not a weakness. Sometimes it's proof that your discipline is finally growing, that you're actually progressing as a trader. And some of the strongest traders I know are the ones emotionally mature enough to close a laptop, walk away. Because the goal was never trade every day. The goal was stay in the game long enough to become dangerous and profitable. If you guys want to get better at discipline, I think I'm pretty fucking good at it. You guys can join the free Discord, like I said before. Ask anybody in there. There's times where I'll go on the live, and after 10, 15 minutes, I look at the price action. Maybe it's not correlated. I'll go, nope, this is some bullshit, and I'll just get off. And I suggest you guys do the same. I help you guys keep yourself accountable. I will always be there for every single one of you. So if you guys like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.